What's going down, everyone? And if you're joining us for the next probably about 30-40 minutes, give or take, we're going to be going over the new Adrenalin software, which is an optional. We're at our 19.8.1, which is pretty fun. We're going to be covering a lot of the news too for what's in the air for the Radeon RX 5700 and how it might already be at the end of its life. It just came out. What? So there's going to be a lot of stuff, and we can kind of see where the trending is going, where they had the Radeon 7, where it was a very limited run. I have one of those cards. That's where we're going to be best, I guess, bench testing the best of what I guess AMD has to market, because they don't really have anything else that's on the top tier. So let's go ahead and slide over. We're going to go directly to what our overlay is. We're going to do a different test than what we normally do, just to kind of Cinebench it. Yes, I like Cinebench a lot. I never really get to debut Cinebench 15 as much, and I'm rocking a pretty heavy overclock right now. So I kind of wanted to kind of see what we can do for as far as that, and kind of go from there along the ways of what we can just dial in situations. Now I'm testing out the classical music in the background. It's copyright free. Figured it might be something really nice just to kind of have there as just kind of seldom portions in the background. But as we kind of see, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. You can see where I'm kind of pinching out the OC on this situation, and where I've ramped up the clock on the fans as well as the limiter and a few other memory points. This might fail, but this also might be really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the Wattmans. We utilize very less, and I already have conveniently inside of the situation the Cinebench. We're gonna run our GL, which is gonna be for our GPU. Should do its repair thing. It should be fine. I've noticed sometimes when you do overclocks though, it will fail certain rendering points. I've tried that before. Usually you'll see it go here and it'll kind of do its thing. Now I think it's gonna be fine. Usually the green dots are pretty good. It's usually the red dots, I think, where it fails the test. So reference, we're at 98%, not too shabby. And then you can kind of see where the other base points of where I've had the test before. I ran this card on my Intel quite a lot of times, just for the simple reason it's very, very simple in order to kind of dial in some situationable points of just interest. So I like the test itself too, just because it's very consistent, as well as shifting it up in between others, I guess, creatable points of what you can actually showcase. You don't want to bench test everything on one program, because then you're going to start seeing fallacies that are situationally happening only on one versus other. I mean, like Jay's 2 cents has referenced that before. Holy crap, that is, I slaughtered my freaking FPS by at least 5. That was cool. Good job. I did well. All right, so let's go ahead and close our Cinebench. After we get our Cinebench closed, we're going to go to our normal referenceable test. Would I like to save the score? Yeah, sure. That'd be awesome. Let's go ahead and pop open to Steam, get to my 3D mark. And over from 3D mark, we're going to go ahead and go into a portion of the test. Now, more than likely, I wish we had more of a ray tracing point, but we don't have Navi 20 yet. That's going to be really freaking cool. Go away, please. I don't want pop-ups and freaking Steam. I don't know what your deal is, son. Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead and update. Yes, I would allow you to update the situation. So, and I guess we can cover the updates. Few updates. Yes, they've done some really cool things with the 3D mark. So that means we're gonna have some newer things to test out, maybe. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down, because we should be getting almost done to this update on top of another update. Now we're also going to be doing a clean install of the graphics card test, which might backfire on me. I might have to rearrange and reset some things in between it, just because I feel like when going over from one OS to another OS, when you're stacking within the same saga, I think it's decent because they're fixing things with inside of there. But when they change it over from a 19-point variant, it's probably nice to just go, if it goes from the 19.7 to 8, just do a clean install on that. It will clean up a lot, because I've been getting a lot of good feedback from people that have been watching the videos, and they've been having issues, and clean installs have definitely helped out along the way. Now, I'm wondering what's going on with this. I'm just going to hit launch. I guess I was waiting a little too long, as it kind of, did the loading spindle, which was kind of weird, so I don't know why it lagged so hard in its situation. But here we are. We're finally at our 3D mark. So I'm going to go ahead and run in. We're going to see what we can do. Now, for as far as the processing point of what we're going to be seeing more, what is going on with this? You're acting super weird. I'm going to shut it down and just restart it again. In computer life, when things start acting really freaking weird, especially during an update, resetting it literally will be the difference between it being able to do this and it not being able to do it. So let's see what's going down. It's preparing. Okay. Are you being really that lame? I guess. I've had this happen before where 3D Mark just acts really ridiculous. Or I might just have to reset the whole damn computer. It might just be that stupid. Yeah, it's being retarded. So I'm gonna go ahead and just shut down the stupid ass computer and reset it, just because I don't know what its issue is, but I've had that happen before where it literally has just been like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And I'm just like, okay, well, you're being really stupid. But let's go ahead and go to the news. I mentioned a few things of what we were gonna get into, and while my computer's being a punk, we're gonna get into the news. So I mentioned at the end of the line for the 5700 in the AMD. Well, there's actually some really cool things that we're going to be getting into for as far as what we're seeing. This was from a French site, which I picked up directly, and you can kind of see that I also have the creator that I got it from and linked in there, so you can always go to boot sequence. I just kind of stumbled onto his page not too long ago, but he had some relevant stuff, so I was like, hey, cool, kind of showcase two things: a really good creator, which is in the tech industry, and then also what we might be seeing for the end of the line. So we've learned this morning from a source that the AMD RX 5700 and the RX 5700 XT reference cards were already at the end of the life. As we point out that they're talking about the reference cards, so the blower type graphics cards that are badged in AMD and other brands like the MSI, Asus, and Sapphire, and so on. And I just saw Gaming Nexus. He did a review of the Sapphire version, which I haven't watched yet, which I want to watch because that's supposed to be one of the better cards that they actually manufacture for like OCeables. AMD has ended the production of these two cards and will now only have the custom versions of these. So the Founders Editions will no longer be readily available from AMD. They've hit their mark, they've passed on the patent points of what they're running for to the other distributors that do third parties, that OC the crap out of them, and that's what they're kind of going for this. So it's been a fortnight, it literally has been like a fortnight. That's a month, by the way, no joke, no pun intended. We're not gonna go play some video games. But now the AMD has delivered the Radeon 57X, and they've already moved on to Navi, what is it, 12 and 14 and 20, the NVIDIA killer that they've referenced. I read Gaming Tech, he had mentioned that, or Red Tech Gaming, if I remember correct. I might have totally got that dyslexic. Okay, so my computer's back up and running. Let's go ahead and see if we can get the portions of the test underway. Go ahead and get my keyboard and type this in real quick. Alright. I don't know why you popped up my Twitch. I shut you down, but thanks. I guess you want me to stream right now, but not really. Anyways, let me just run my 3D Mark. Oh my gosh, now Steam's updating. No wonder it failed. Fail, Steam, fail. Alright. But with that being said too, I also do have the patch notes for the Radeon 7, but I really want to try to get an actual physical test in before we go into it, and I'm going to go ahead and launch it. Should be good now. Should not even run into an issue. It should immediately mark up. Yep, there we go. I can shut this down. Now let me make sure that the referenceable point of our manual overclock is still there. With resetting it and the way it just acted, I would not even doubt if the Wattman was just like, I'm not tired, I don't care, I'm not going to give you the OC you dialed in. But maybe it's cool today. It's cool today. Sweet. So, let's go ahead and shut it down. We're going to go ahead and blow up our portions right here. And then we're going to go into running a test now. Now, this is great because before it was struggling to even read any individual one. So basically what happened was Steam was out of sync and it tried to update 3D Mark for it, and then it was just like, I don't know what the hell is going on. This is really crazy. Anywho, so we have two tests that we're going to run directly with the OC, and then we're going to flip over the overclock and we'll run the patch notes as we're installing it, so just in case it's. So let's go ahead and go to our direct Fire Strike. This is going to be like kind of like more of like the 4K gaming with the direct X11. Which is going to be more primarily geared towards what we're trying to like showcase. And I like Time Spy too. It really pushes the cards in the limit, but this is really kind of the, I guess, the sweet spot of the card. Like when we running into it in a lot of situations. Now, if you're new to the network and you've never watched these and you've definitely journeyed on this long, you should definitely drop down what video card you have inside of the successional point of what's going down, because it would be kind of cool to see what's going up and down inside of the, I guess, radarable points of what we're kind of getting into. And I'm going to open up the overlay just in case if anyone's inside the chat room, because I didn't have anything directly over there, unfortunately. It looks like everything is pretty dialed in. So here we are. Fire Strike should be kicking in. Damn, I don't know if anyone can hear my thing, but check this out. I also have a decibel test reader, which I can do. That's going to be some. Oh my gosh, I think I just crashed the damn card. I literally think I just crashed the card. You worked so well in Cinebench. Oh yeah, I think I just crashed the damn card. It turned on, it was just like, nope, not doing that. This is why you want to test your different programs. I probably was pushing the memory bandwidth way too hard for one thing. Now, I'm also going to wait to see what happens here, because it could very well continue to go over. Let me see what I'm getting in the readout for as far as my OBS, which is probably nothing, I would assume, right now at this point in time. So, while this situation arises, we're going to go patch notes. And this is, by the way, the music that I'm getting from, just so I can showcase that. Anywho, so we're at Radeon. Awesomeness as my computer is just having a heyday over here. I'll go over here and fortunately, hold on real fast. I'm gonna go ahead and get a readout. Oh, right when I get the decibel leader, that's when all of a sudden it shuts up, like you almost knew. But yeah, it definitely reset. It was like, nope, I tried as hard as I can. So that means I'll have to dial in another thing. But let's go ahead and get to our patch notes. So for this week's portion of what we have updated, we're back to the Radeon Adrenalin 2019 edition for the 19.8.1 highlights. So what did it basically think? One of the bigger portions that I got directly email was the support, what they were talking about right here. And that's how I knew what was going on, because AMD hit me up and was like, hey, by the way, we have an update and we'd like to tell you what's going down. This is what's up if you want to go ahead and take a peek. And I was like, yeah. So the Microsoft Ready to Play 3.0 supported on the Radeon RX 5700 series graphics card, our lovely GPU that we've a lot of us come to like get into this nice next generation of Zen. So the issues that it may have fixed in the general portions of it is some systems configurations may experience color corruption after installing the Radeon software. When running the Windows 10 in the May 2019 update, issues are resolved in the latest update. So I'm going to be also running a Windows update after this, because I haven't really ran that on. I got my last one, but if there's a newer one that's going to help, because a lot of the cooler things that I've been noticing that since AMD's been getting more foot traffic and they've been getting more recognized and more people are putting more money in funding, well, Windows is putting a hell of a lot more funding into making sure that their technology runs well on there, because one creator had busted out that basically a lot of the Threadripper parts weren't working really well for as far as the kernel counts going on top of the portion of Windows, but when you ran it on Linux, it ran hella well. So there are going to be issues, but Windows is trying really hard because AMD is kind of a hot topic nowadays. So if this isn't something that you're experiencing issues, make sure that your Windows is up to date, and then update your driver with a clean install. Now, probably will help out a lot. Now, with the Radeon Chill setting may not sync with the game profile setting with changes in the game in the Radeon overlay. Now, the Radeon RX 5700 series graphic cards products may experience black screens flickering while applying the overclock in the memory when the games or the application are running in full screen. Now, that's kind of lame, personally, myself. It seems like the card itself is kind of falling apart. But I mean, I would not say that since like I started one of the articles with that they are going to discontinue, this doesn't mean that they're going to stop updating it. I got word that my card was going to be discontinued, and they were just like, whatever's in shelves is in shelves. And then they were just like, well, yeah, like, but we're still going to like actually physically update it. The last update that I had in the 19.7.5, they still were fixing and patching stuff. So don't give up on AMD and they won't give up on you. And if not, just hit them up in an email. They're really cool about responding to stuff. Now, do I think that they're going to make the Radeon 7 card 4K 90 frames a second in a really cool encoder and a decoder for like streamers? Probably not. I think it's gridlocked at a 1080p, and I don't think that they're going to fix it. Now, they can prove me wrong if they want. They're more than welcome to if they ever watch this video. But let's go ahead and continue with the news. So what we're looking at right here, past that situation, we had the black flickering screen that's going to be so lame that you don't want to play your game. Let's go ahead and go to the point of the anti-lag may slightly impact the performance in select games. So if you want to see a difference and you're starting to notice, hey, like I can't move around, and we've all had that, just like in the beginning where I instantly noticed that 3D Mark, something was wrong. Resetting it instantly worked. So it's like sometimes you're going to have to just go back to what you originally had. Like my OC didn't work, it collapsed. Point in case. I did push it up pretty hard though. I was testing it to the limits. At least I got a Cinebench score. I was still happy about that. But the point that I'm getting at, your boy Mac is going to move on to the next portion. So Radeon RX 5700 series card, yet again, the GPU that seems to be on the hot list for the fixed issues, so they're really trying to truck it out, is experiencing a black screen during the uninstallation of Windows 7 system configurations. A workaround to performance is uninstall in safe mode. Now, that sucks just because it seems like a lot of these cards in the generation are super succeeding that of the last generation. So this is where they're running into a lot of compatibility issues. So the way they basically had designed the newer cards on Navi, everyone was like, oh, it's a new structure. It is, but it still incorporates last gen because they needed a hybrid. They needed something that can utilize a lot of this. So this is probably where all the hammering portions where they're kind of getting the equilibrium balanced into it. So I almost want to say by the end of this saga, they probably will have this card dialed in really well. Because if we've had the 7 saga was the beginning, that means the flip saga of this is going to be it. And when I got my Radeon card, it started, I think, at 19.3, 19.5. And within about 2 to 3 saga later, here we are with a card that's almost pretty much at its peak, besides a few bells and whistles they may add on later down the road. So give them a little bit. They're working, and every update comes out probably roughly about every 2-3 weeks, give or take. It seems like Nvidia and them are always firing back and forth, and I still haven't even gotten a hold of the new 431.67 update from like Nvidia's like portion of it. Like apparently it's like 3 weeks old too, but I think that was a fix for when things went awry with your card and you couldn't roll back, which sucked. But we're not talking Nvidia, we're talking AMD and the Radeon Adrenalin software. So moving past that, definitely go to the safe mode if you had that issue. Recording clips with the Radeon Relive may experience blank clips with it. Oh my goodness, don't ever use the Relive. Don't. I don't know if anyone's gonna comment later on and be like, I love it and I use it all the time, but I have all these little problems. Yeah, bro. Or bro, don't. Just use OBS. It's so much better. Really is. You can trust in the creator. It's an open source program. So important news is the AMD Radeon, for the notes at least, the mobile processors with the Radeon Vega graphics and Adrenalin software can be found here. So you can go to the link that I linked in the description. You can conveniently download this. You also can conveniently look at more of the patch notes along. Even with the update, seems like it's linkable through Windows all through this situation. So we're done with our patches. So let's go ahead and go back to the real talk real quick before we jump right back into the I guess laptop. I'm going to set up, well, not laptop, my desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and pop open our Adrenalin software. And more than likely, if I had to take a wild guess, this thing completely collapsed. Let's see here. Graphics card, it should tell me that it failed. Oh no, it didn't. Let me bring you guys and gals over. So here I am right here. We're roughly about 18 minutes, so I really do need to get that install underway, like as soon as possible. So it reset me right here, and more than likely I think it might have been the curve that I was rocking. So instead of like doing the 808, I'm gonna go ahead and get this one right here, bring this up so it just kind of like levels out a little bit. I kind of want this to do that, where it's just like it takes off and then kind of hurts the curb as it's going this way. Now I'm not gonna take this up too much. I'm gonna hit a 707. I kind of feel like that might be a nice little home mark. Or 711 or 707. Apparently it wants to be 707. Good for you. You're fine. Let's go ahead and get our manual temps, get our power up, power level over 9,000. Now I'm instantly gonna ramp this up. The minute it gets to, I want to say 60 Celsius, I want it operating roughly about there. And then 70, I'm sorry, you're pretty much full power at that point. The fan should be blasting, because it's definitely gonna hit this range instantly almost. You're gonna hear that fan boot in. Now with the memory frequency, I haven't had any luck with tuning it all the way up. So I'm just gonna hit 11 and call it a day. We'll go 1111. I think I might be able to rock that. And let me go ahead and apply. Should boot its thing over. Maybe. You can always tell right up here because now the layout is pretty decent. Yep, I hit my old clock. So let's go ahead and bounce out. Let's go ahead and open up Steam. Really quickly do a fire strike test, and I'll probably skip the time spy, and then we'll run an OC on it after we run the clock points of the install, because I don't know if I'm going to run into any issues with the install. I might need to do that because sometimes when you do the quick install, it turns off or reinitiates the HTCP, which kind of messes with the output when it runs, because the way I stream and split it, since it's HDR and 4K, they're basically trying to weed out people like taking advantage of 4K TV and re-recording it for free. But I see their point, but I'm not really doing that. Situationable point. Cool, it loaded in the benchmark points and what I have really quick. It knows what I'm doing. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and go here. I hit a run, and fingers crossed, hopefully it doesn't crash. If it does, then things aren't going to be looking too good, unfortunately. But I do have my decibel level. Yes. So, as it is pointed towards there, I'll keep it open and be quiet as it starts the test. Hold on, it hasn't started yet. It's like blanking out, and it's doing its thing. And probably right when the screen goes. So far so good. It's not showing a lot of artifact portions. It instantly did that. Hold on, there we go. Okay, that wasn't good. I might be messing with the audio. Damn it, it crashed. Shit. That's really not good. I might be messing with the bandwidth of the memory just a little too hardcore, because I know when I do that in the past I've had issues with it instantaneously. This is kind of a bummer. We're not getting that far inside there, but at least it clicked over the reset hella fast. I'll take that. At least it was just like, hey, I know something wrong would happen. I'm gonna go ahead and quick it. So I guess at this point, we'll just get our baselines. I won't mess with the OC. We'll mess with the OC once we get out of it. We'll just do a really quick fire test right at it. I'll just bring up the power limits, bring up the bandwidth up to it, and not mess with the memory too quick. Just because I kind of feel like that's the issue right there, is that I'm messing with the I'm trying to push the memory too much, and that's where it's getting the virtualization that it's failing. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and place this aside just so we can get to the audio test in a second, and I can read out the audio as it kind of comes out. I wish this had a better kickstand. It'd be so much cooler. Like, whatever. Just chill there for right now. All right. I love my VPN. It's so cool. You're not updating. Come on. Also, it could be the curve that I'm doing too with this. So I'm gonna like, let's go. I've done this before where it kind of peaks out a little bit. I think maximum is right there. That should be our sweet spot. I know for sure I'm gonna need to turn this up to have any effect with the dang card. And then I don't like auto. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work for me. It also could be that the fact that I'm pulling hella juice in the portion of the card itself. It could just be like, I really just don't like that you're pulling hella energy to my fans. It's pretty possible. But I think that that's a nice little setup. Should run pretty tough for me and keep cool. I can already hear the fan. Instantly clicked in. But that's good though. As you can see, our junction temperatures, current temperatures, and current speeds. So I'll take it. Right now that's not too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and go with, let's close and go to our benchmark, because I've already lost a lot of time with GPU crashes with trying to mess with that. So quick fire strike test. I do like how smoothly it's running, so this is not too bad. Like so far, we've covered our notes and all the rest of the stuff. So this is kind of weird though. Like for as far as the, I guess the 19.7.5 was the most stable overclock that I ended up like rolling with, which wasn't too bad. But then like having this where I'm kind of pushing the boundaries of like the bandwidth, like it can be troublesome sometimes. Thank goodness like I've studied a lot of it like through other creators and like what they've been doing in the situation. So I'm gonna get the audio mark and hopefully this test will work at this point in time so we can kind of just test the decibel rate. So far so good. It seems like it's doing its thing. It might be flickering over. Oh, come on. Are you really just that like dunzo? What the hell, Radeon? You've never done this. Wow, it's just refusing to want to run. I mean, the only thing I could think of is that the Windows update has outsynced the processing point, and then now the current update's needing like, cause that's the gotta love the portion of it. But I guess I can get some decibel levels. Roughly about 65, give or take, for like the decibel level where it's coming in, and it definitely crashed again. I'm done with running an overclock. I mean, right now it's just really just, I don't know what's going on with it, quite frankly, and I'm not going to dig too much more deeper into the situation. I'm just needing to run a virus strike test so I have something to compare it to. Like, I just don't know why it's revolting. Rage Against the Machine. I'll show you Rage Against the Machine as I unplug you. Oh, now you're probably gonna start working when I start talking crap. Or I can always replace your CPU, replace your GPU. Yeah, that's right. I'll charge that shit. You wanna work now? You wanna be a good machine? Notification. I'm the dumb. I mean, literally the only thing that I haven't changed, it was the difference of allowing like the GPU to pull more on the junction portion, because before it was just automated like before, like, so I just need to run right now just to test to make sure it's not the damn graphics card just like shitting out right now. Like that would be horrible. I really just don't got the patience right now, which is weird. They ran the Cinebench so damn well. You can see it's definitely running a lot slower than what it was when I had the overclocks running. I mean, this should work almost instantaneously. It's literally running stock, so we should run into no issues whatsoever. Yes, I'm looking at you, Radeon 7. You are the issue right now. Like staring at my computer like with like a death stare. I'm like, yes, you want to work right now. But so far so good. I mean, I really think it was probably that I was sucking too much energy out of it with the fans, and I just pushed it to the limit where it was like, you know what, you're crazy. You were absolutely crazy if you think I'm gonna run at that freaking power limit. I'm just turning it off. You don't got the power to do that. I mean, I do have a really good power block. I have like 1,000 watt like power watt in there, which is really unnecessary for that thing, I would assume. But I got it for future proofing, just in case if I needed it for another project later on. Because I rock that and then another 1,000 inside of my Threadripper, which if I look and compare to both of those comparatively, the Threadripper is more adequate to handle that situation. But I am going to need probably a more powerful freaking power source once I get the 64 core Threadripper, because I do have plans on wanting to get that and seeing what I can do with that, like CPU in general standpoints, just because it's like I really feel like I can encode stuff way better on OBS. And in OBS, like when you do stuff in the X264, it doesn't really make too much of a difference when you're at 1080p in streaming. It just adds a really huge delay, but when you move to 4K, it makes a drastic difference in quality and picture. It's like the difference between looking at something that's hazy and then looking at something that just looks so freaking like real. It's insane. I was testing it on Red Dead Redemption when I was switching between the Radeon, or not the Radeon, I believe it was the graphics card of my GeForce GTX 1060 Extreme, which is like capable of running like 4K. So I was switching between that and the encoding portion, and I was like, damn, this looks really dull. And then when I switched to the X64, I was like, holy crap, that looks so good. So it's like when you end up making like thumb art and like stuff for your next episodes of like what you're streaming, you can get, when it compresses to the 720 that you need for that thumbnail for YouTube or whatever network majority of them operate on, that 720, it looks flawless. So it's like, I do see the point of a lot of creators where they're like, no one's gonna use this, and they're probably right. It's not really practical for a majority of people in the market, but it is extraordinarily practical for me. So if I can step my game up and get something that encodes at a slow, very, very fast, I'm gonna be looking at like crystal clear streams without putting a lot of heavy portion on like a laggable point of like sending through the network. So I'm really excited to kind of see that like process going, and I might even be able to future proof it enough where I can get like 8K at a very fast, where I get 60 frames, which is really cool, because it seems like a lot of the market of what they're aiming for with the next generation, when you're looking at Navi 14 and Navi 20, the NVIDIA killer, which I think is really cool that they actually have that. Like, they're literally going to try to like take on the RTX and like either find a median where they can get to the Titan level and eye to eye kind of poke at it and get a drop price at it, or they're going to super exceed. But what I would assume with a name like the Radeon killer, it's going to be up here for performance and probably offer a lot more towards portions of what we're getting inside of ray tracing. Because that is like a big market where a lot of people weren't for it because the price, and they were like, no, I don't really want that. And then all of a sudden the price finally started to kilter, because all of a sudden we started getting down to the portion of what was going on with I guess people wanting to see like the pixel perfect situations, because it really does look really cool. Now, comparing this to the last test that I ran without the overclock, let's see here, my Intel, let's go down. I ran a lot of Threadripper tests, if you couldn't tell. I got really bored and just kind of ran them. So there's my overclock right there, Firestrike Ultra, and then Firestrike Extreme. So you can see right there, I'm at Ultra. I'm matching the Ultra right down here. I'm down by a few points, but that's not too shabby, and I think I should have one that's like lined up. Where is it? That's my overclock. That's the extreme. There's like almost, I want to say like the normal readings right here. That was the very first test that I ran on the 27th, with it being just like in a normal portion. So to get that and that's roughly right around the same point it should be running stock. So nothing super crazy there. So we got our bases, we got our FPS. Let's install the damn driver. I'm not waiting any longer. Almost 30 minutes into the episode and we haven't even done the installation. So I kind of want to get to that. So let's go ahead, you can update right there. Now one of the conveniences you can get is you can kind of see right there, oh, what the variance of that? 1930.01.01, oh, it's the date. So this is how you can do a express, custom, or you can do a release at that situation. So if I go to custom, it's gonna say, yes, would you like to launch this situation? I'm gonna go ahead and do that and see if we can just do a clean install. Hoping that it allows me to do that through this option. We're going to find out very shortly. It may actually physically make me install it differently. Because I do remember last time it's saying clean install, and that's where I got myself into trouble with like the, I think 19.73, where it like jagged. I basically got halfway through the situation. Whoa. Okay, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna clean install all these. That's fine. So everything's going to be pretty much re-defaulted. So once we get past that, then I'll have to open up the Radeon and probably more than likely click on the HTTP off in order for it to send into the Avir card that I have, which is like a really good 4K capture card. I've noticed that it's actually been pretty good, but the last OBS update, I hate to say, I don't know why, but I really feel like it made the contrast darker. It was really weird. Like, I was just so blown away with what was going on in that situation. Now, It dropped out real fast, like with its updating, because I guess it probably did its thing. I'm gonna go ahead and we can go to the real talk real fast and just talk about AMD news as it's doing its thing at that portion in time. So, oh, okay, it's gonna go ahead and restart. And then we're gonna see what's happened. So that was a really fast install. Like usually I'm waiting a really long time for those things to install. It's usually roughly about a minute or so. That was within about 30 seconds. It took off and just ran. So really cool, actually. Let me see real fast. I'm gonna get where we're gonna go with the situation. It doesn't seem like it realizes what's going on. So let me turn off and turn on the box, because that's more than likely what ended up happening. Should see it now, I'm hoping. Once I get into this open portion, it should allow me, because it's more than likely took away the screen priority that I have, where I can throw the 3D benchmark on one screen and one screen alone. So let me go ahead and see, because like right now I have no way of showing what I'm doing, just for the simple reasons that it is just... Oh, okay, it's installing another portion of it too. How interesting. I need you to go away for a split second. Damn, it's doing a lot of heavy work. So it set up everything instantly. That's why it's having struggle, because when I got it in, I was like, this looks really unpixelated. Like, I wish I could show... Oh, actually, I probably can. Yeah, there's the Radeon card. There's my Radeon thing and all my other stuff that I have here. So that's basically what's happening right now with me in my life. We have all this fun stuff and situation kind of going over there. So it's installing. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back, because my screen shouldn't always tilt like that. Not always a good thing. But everyone, thank you so much for staying tuned on this far. I'm sorry we ran into some issues on this episode. It happened last time for as far as the portions goes, but we'll be getting very shortly right after. I see a few people already inside of the room. Cheers for staying tuned. It looks like we're 54% so far done with the update. Oh, just jumped up to 57. It's really racing. It kind of likes me saying that it's racing. Good job, Radeon. Do your thing. So once we get to the install, I'm really excited. But again, I'm probably gonna have to like re-initialize it really fast, because that's what happened last time. I was like so salty. I was like, I can't do this. I gotta do a new format. And I like redid all the tests, because I was just so like, no, this wasn't good enough. Like, I feel like as a creator, I always want to continue to up my game, and like I guess just the way I can kind of showcase stuff to everyone and bring a really cool... So I'm like looking over at the update. Let's see, like computer update, computer update. Doing a lot of flashes, and like it's seeming like a Michael Bay film right now. Like all my icons disappeared and they kind of reappeared in like random order. Like I really feel like it's like rewriting everything inside of the card. I hope that isn't a bad thing. It'll be fine. I've never had a horror story where it's bricked. The only ones I've heard about that were like the NVIDIA ones, and those were the more recent ones where you could literally like brick your card somehow, and like that is horrible. Like I don't know if there's any like BIOS switch that you can really get into with those things right there. Now it's kind of already starting to pick it up a little bit. The update's almost there with the display drivers, because now I'm starting to see the twinkle of my light going like this with the HTC 4K HDR splitter, and that's usually a good sign that it's kind of semi getting pixel strength. All right, what you doing? Almost, it's installating. Oh, the screen went. No, did you turn off? I didn't want you to turn off. Like, I think it's kind of working. I don't know what's going on. Yes, we're back. Holy crap. It's like, it's tripping out, man. It is literally tripping out. Oh my gosh. This is insane. I've never seen it do this. It's not like it's gonna catch fire or destroy itself, but it is definitely installing a lot of stuff. Like, it's really cool to see like the way that this driver is like literally installating everything from the ground up. It's like, I really feel like the relive actually might even freaking work after this. Who knows? I wouldn't stream from that though. I probably won't test that. I'm just joking. Seriously. That thing is always on the fix list. Use OBS. I keep saying that. Use OBS. There's a reason why I keep saying that. It's amazing for streaming and content creation. It's probably one of the better portions that I've seen, honestly, on the market that you can get. Like, because there are other situations that you can kind of get. Like, how do you keep getting to this point of wanting to skip? Are you having an issue with, like, installing the Radeon Live or something like that? don't know what's going on with it. Now, it could be tripping out because it has two screens open, and it's really trying to figure out what the hell's going on with the card as it updates and trying to throw things around where I can actually get a portion. Uh-oh. Okay, the mouse is back. Like, the mouse was not there. I was like, that's bad. That's very bad. Okay, so I'm gonna unplug the screen because I think that's more than likely what's happening. It's tripping out because it's trying to feed a source information. If I turn it off, it should jagman it all right back to one screen, which it just did. And then it says, I want to go ahead and install the Radeon Live. Cool, we're completely finished now. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit a clean reset. And I'm going to replug in everything. Let me make sure the Radeon didn't flip back over for the screen thing. But again, I had to hit a reset in order to actually physically get that. So let's go ahead and hit a reset. Turn this back on. Hope for the best. But hopefully within about 5 minutes, we should be back to a nice little bench test with the 19.8.1. But you guys can see the cool set that I've made. In the background, Shenron's looking, Goku's there, and Rick and Morty and all the other cool stuff. That Sonic poster, I really wish had less contrast. Every so often I can kind of get it, but it's just kind of like the lights are really bright. I can always turn them off one of these days, I guess. Sonic kind of cool. All right, so the reset is taking a really long time. It's really like really thinking there. My Intel doesn't take that long. It's got really great RAM. It makes that Kirby leg run fast. Or KB leg. I just like Kirby. I've been playing a lot of Smash. I know I just said Kirby. All right. So far so good, but it definitely seems with the reset, it is doing something a little bit more different than what it normally wants to. All right, you're being a little punk. Let's get logged on, and then I will fix that in just a second because I think I know exactly what just happened. I've learned this well enough to know what is up. All right, let's go to where it is, displays, see if it even detects the other display. It doesn't. It should once I click this back on. Perfect, now you got it. So let's go to specs. Be display 2. You are the reason why everything is override. Yes, I accept. Disable. Yes, I'm okay with that. Reset. We should be back in business. So just give it a second. The only thing I'm gonna have to realign is just tell when. Well, no, Windows should know that I want that as my primary screen instantly, because Windows didn't update. It was the driver portion of it. So it seems like it's running really smoothly. It's not like pushing the computer to its limits. The only other thing I might need to do is just reset the HDR breaker. For some weird reason, that makes and breaks the difference. My life is interesting when it comes down to technology. But I like how the screen isn't flickering instantly like it's trying to like do something hella weird. That's how you can tell you're in issues land. Alright, so yes, that's basically what I'll have to do is reset the breaker. Once I reset the breaker, it should be getting signal like it is right now. It should trip out and we should be good, I'm hoping. One can only hope. I mean, unless it wants me to just unplug it. Possible. Okay, now I want you to go back into there. Come on. Bam! I think I got it. Got it! So, steps of what I just did in order to get back to where I was at. Now, I'm probably going to have to do one more thing because it's being a little punk. Because now the GPU detects the change. Now the breaker should detect the change. And we should be back in business for as far as spending what's going on with that portion. Why are you tripping now? Huh. You're like tripping out on the HDR send to, where are you sending that? Why are you tripping out? Oh, you're tripping out on the Threadripper. Hold on, I think I have an idea. I think that might work. Because it's going to redetect it. That's looking like it might work. I mean, essentially it should be. I mean, the only other thing I could think of is that it's a program error. And that I have to shut down, like, OBS. But that doesn't make sense. Like, you literally... Alright, last thing I can do at this point in time is literally just reset the computer one last time. Seen worse. Thanks everyone for staying tuned. Worst comes to worst, I just run one test after this and we call it a day for as far as the difference in stock to stock and then overclock. I wanted to try to get to some really cool overclocks, but this... I knew doing a clean install you do run into some messes, like for as far as like streaming, not necessarily messes for as far as what you would be getting into for just like playing the game. Like it's more like for me, it's like I have issues with like display drivers and stuff like that where it just like really just annoys the hell out of me and where I'm just like, oh, why do I have to deal with this? But it looks like it's running pretty well. This might be the mill ticket, hopefully. We'll find out shortly. And by shortly, I mean now. Wow, okay, yeah, it's completely just garbage.com. Okay, so I'm gonna try something really fast, everyone. I'm literally gonna shut down OBS and reboot it back in, and it might work. So give me 1 second. Now, cool thing with OBS, since I have to do it in 4K, wow, that's so garbage. It's not even doing anything. What the hell? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna figure this out because I'm like, quite frankly, just so dunzo with this shit. Okay, like you should be flipping to this, to that. Come on. That was weird. Wow, it just like completely tripped the hell out. Like, I'm getting down to my wit's end on what this possibly could be. The only thing I could think of literally is that the Threadripper needs to be reset because it's like the signal going to it, and for some weird reason, it's just acting weird. And worst comes to worst, I'll just boot up a stream right after this, and we can go from there. It'll be the clean install at that portion in time. But give me 1 second, real fast. I'm seeing maybe if this is going to be the meal ticket. Wow, you were really acting like a butt munch. Okay, this is when I need you to do things, computer. Okay, well, what the is going on? Damn it. You are Italy. Useless right now. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna reboot the stream in a second. I need to figure out what the heck's going on. This is pretty useless.